How do you make talking head videos more interesting? Well, that's the business I'm in. I produce over 50 different YouTube channels that are all talking head videos, and we have to make them interesting to keep people engaged. The good news is YouTube tells us when we succeed at that and when we fail at that, and so we can learn, we can make improvements. And in this episode, I'm going to share with you everything that I've learned. All right, I've got 10 tips that I'm going to share with you that will make your talking head videos more interesting, more entertaining, and will keep people's attention longer. Okay, so tip number one is to understand that the content is more important than the packaging, right? We think about a lot of the bells or whistles or the things that we can do after the fact or around our video to make it more entertaining. Maybe it's the text effects or whatnot, but the content itself is what you should focus on. Number one, I mean, that's the priority. If you're making a talking head video, you're teaching, right? This is how-to content. You're answering their question. That's going to keep things interesting and keep people interested. These are people that have never heard of you before, but they typed in this question on Google or YouTube and they found your video, and you start out your video and say, hey, this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to answer your question. They're definitely going to be drawn in. They're going to be interested in what you have to say. Okay, tip number two is crop edits, right? When we film, the way I'm filming right now, I've got a camera on a tripod, and so it doesn't move, right? The size of me doesn't change in the camera, but in post, when my team edits it, you'll notice that sometimes they will crop in and then they'll crop back out. Now, typically we don't do it that fast, but maybe every 15 or 20 seconds, we change that crop, and that keeps things interesting. Now, essentially a crop edit is a jump cut, but you're changing the crop of the video while you do a jump. So the great thing during filming is if I'm talking and I forget my words and I need to restart the sentence or something like that, the team can do a jump cut. But if they also do a crop edit, there's no hesitation. You don't even know that there was an edit there. Tip number three is to include visual aids. Like you might use a flip chart or something like that. Or if I happen to be teaching about money and how money is made, to actually have something and be able to point to it. Now this is just fake money, so don't think I got $100 bills lying around. But having something to show, a visual aid like that, can really help things stay interesting. Now tip number four, something that's really easy to do and really helps things stay interesting, is using B-roll. Now for talking head videos, you're just going to be sitting here, you're going to be talking to the camera, but as you're describing different things, like if this was a real estate investing video and I'm telling you about one of the properties that I bought, my voice could continue talking while I then show in some B-roll. So not only do you hear about it, but now you see this property. Or if I'm talking about an experience where I was walking on the beach, or the time when I went to the Philippines and I stayed in a bungalow there, it's really helpful for me to show a visual of that and show my time so you can actually be there and you can experience it with me. Okay, tip number five is actually what not to do. When you're using B-roll, I encourage you to find good B-roll that looks real, that looks authentic, that doesn't look too perfect. Because a lot of the stock footage that you'll find, they're actors, everything is white and polished in the scene, and it's been way overused. If you use that type of footage in your video, especially if you use it a lot, I think it really downplays the videos and makes them less interesting. It makes them more cookie cutter. Tip number six is to add music to your videos. Yeah, this can really increase the engagement. I mean, think about any movie that you love and it's got an amazing soundtrack. So we'll just talk about Star Wars. Star Wars would not be what it is without music. Now, in a talking head video, play around with music. In some areas you may want to use it, some areas not. Find what's right for your style. Admittedly, I don't use music in my talking head videos, except during the portion I call the video logo. You might call it an opener, and during the ending, but I've seen other talking head videos use music successfully. Now, you only want to use music that you have rights to, or your video will be flagged on YouTube, and any ad revenue you generate will go to the creator of that music. But you can buy royalty-free music that you can embed, and there's a good selection. Sometimes you have to search, but you can find some good music to use in your videos. Tip number seven is text effects, or putting images or words on the screen. I kind of downplayed that in the beginning, saying you really needed to focus just on the content, and that's what's going to make it the most interesting. And I stand by that. Sometimes text effects can overwhelm you, and if you add too much or you don't do it the right way, they can make your videos look very amateur. But if you keep the fonts simple and you use them sparingly, text effects can enhance a video, and it just puts variety into the video. You don't necessarily need to put text on the screen for them to learn, because you're already saying the words. And you do have to be careful, because if you say something one way, but the text is written a different way on the screen, or if there's a spelling error, it can actually distract the viewer and have them not pay attention to what you're saying next, because they're still focusing on the spelling error. But with practice, if you do it right, that can make the videos more interesting. Okay, tip number 8 is to use curiosity hooks. Now, I actually just recently filmed an episode where I went into depth and I demonstrated curiosity hooks. The title of that episode is how to make your YouTube videos more interesting. So very similar to this one, you'll probably enjoy that episode. I'll link to it right here. Tip number 9 is to film in an interesting location. There's so many channels that film every episode with the exact same background. Now those people, maybe they've got shelves behind them, they'll move little trinkets, and I guess that's a little entertaining because people will try and find the Easter egg, or they'll try and find what's changed. But for me, I like to mix things up, and all my clients, we typically film 5 episodes in one location, but then we'll change locations. We film 20 episodes in a day, so that's kind of crazy. There's some huge advantages to doing it that way, but in a single day, we'll film in 4 different locations to provide variety. And my filming team is really good at being creative. They'll add a splash of color, or they'll light me in a different way, or they'll put me in a cool location that we've never done before. Now, tip number 10 is something that I've really had to work on, and I've improved a lot, very gradually over the years, and that's to really show excitement for the topic that you're talking about. I think of Stan the Annuity Man. I mean, annuities, they're kind of a boring topic. You can go to his channel, Stan the Annuity Man. He talks about annuities in such a cool, fun way. For many of his filming days, I was the cameraman. I was the one behind the camera, and I thought, okay, another full day of talking about annuities. Because he showed excitement and energy for these topics, it made every single episode of his entertaining. So now that I've shared these 10 tips, I have a free gift for you that's gonna blow those 10 tips out of the water. I wanna give you my book. Okay, so I put 2 years into this book. What this book showcases and teaches is how to leverage YouTube for lead generation. Now, I produce over 50 different YouTube channels that all pull in leads for businesses. Many of these channels generate 7 and even 8 figures annually just from YouTube. I printed this in color so I could show you stuff behind the scenes, take you behind the scenes on many different channels, and I want you to understand what's in my head and how we're able to be successful on so many different channels. So this book is my gift to you as long as you cover the shipping cost. Just go to natesyoutubebook.com, and that's my gift to you.